What's up, y'all? It's me, it's your boy Asmongold, and today we're going to talk about the fact that in the first quarter of 2015, World of Warcraft has lost 2.9 million subscribers. And so just to put that into perspective for everyone here, that means that in a 3-month period, they've lost over 1/4 of their entire subscriber population. And you know the only real question I have to ask here is anyone really surprised? Is anyone really surprised whenever people decide that they're not going to pay money to play Farmville anymore? Is anyone really surprised when people get tired of running the same treadmill on 4 different difficulties? Is anyone really surprised that people get burnt out of an MMO that you don't even need to interact with another player in order to kill the last boss of the game? It is a huge disappointment to me. It's a huge disappointment to a lot of other people. Like, if you go to Twitch TV, look guys, if you want a comparison here, RuneScape has more viewers than World of Warcraft, okay? I don't really think that I need to say anything more in this video, but it's going to be a little bit longer. That's just one way of comparison. And guys, this is, I honestly, I really, like, when I read this, I knew I had to make a video about it. I knew I had to talk about it. But guys, in a lot of ways, I really am just speechless. It is such a disappointment for me. Worlds of Draenor, I was so hyped for it. I mean, like, everybody was. You know, you see the cinematic, it comes out, and this is going to be the return to form of World of Warcraft. The cinematic comes out, there's the thumping, the fucking horde drums. You come in there, that's fucking Big Dick Gul'dan, and then, like, the next scene, Grom Hellscream, badass Grom Hellscream, and then, like, what was it, 2 minutes later, you look up and there's fucking Manaroth, and it's like, oh my god, all aboard the hype train. What is it? Words of Draenor sold, like, what was it? Like, it got the subscribers up to like 10 million people. Everybody was hyped up. Everybody wanted this to be a success, and it was the biggest disappointment. And guys, if you think it's not, here are the numbers. They say it is. Like, what else could be the possible reason be? Guys, I'm really upset, but I'll tell you guys something else. I'm really glad this happened. I really am, but I'm going to tell you guys why. If you cook a lobster, this is how you cook a lobster. You put it in a pan of water or a pot of water, and you slowly turn the temperature up. You slowly turn the temperature up until the lobster thinks it's, oh my god, I'm dying, and they can't get out and they're dead, and then you're having lobster, right? But you know what you don't do? You don't just throw a lobster into a pot of boiling water because they'll crawl out. You know what I'm hoping here? Is that this is the boiling water and World of Warcraft is going to crawl out of it, because holy shit, this obviously is... It is a huge disaster. It's been a huge disaster, and I'm going to tell you guys some of the reasons why I think that it is. The first reason, of course, is moving the, what's the word that people always use? Moving the goalposts. Moving the goalposts. The faction capitals are going to be Caribor and Bladespire. Never mind, they're going to be these... like Valiant's Keep in, what was it, Howling, not Howling Fjord, Borean Tundra probably has more depth to it than Storm Shield. It is a complete embarrassment. And so the capital cities move back and change. Everybody's looking forward to it. Go to Caribor. It's one of the best architecturally designed cities in the entire game. Then Farallon. Farallon was actually on the map in the alpha version of Worlds of Draenor. Where is Farallon? We don't even know if it's going to happen in the expansion. At this point, as I said, we're just lucky that we're getting Tannin Jungle, which was again announced at the beginning of Worlds of Draenor, and that just hasn't happened yet. It might happen in 6. Well, it's going to happen in 6.2. But honestly, guys, it should have happened at the release. It seems like 6.2 is what the game should have released with. And on top of that, they're adding Mythic Dungeons. Guys, I'm happy about Mythic Dungeons, I really am. But at the same time, they've basically said that it's not a good business decision to create new dungeons because a lot of people aren't going to see them. Well, you know what? Neither is losing 3 million subscribers. I am just so disappointed. And on top of that, the mounts. Guys, you want to know some of the new mounts that you're getting in 6.2? There's one mount that costs 150 Apexis crystals, and now they've made it cost another 100,000 gold for pretty much a reskinned wolf. And you're going to be able to buy a cleft hoof for like 20,000 gold, and another boar for 10 or 5 or something like that. And so really all we have in Worlds of Draenor is reskins of basically boars, talbooks, gronlings, and wolves. And on top of that, like instead of and that would be okay. That would kind of be okay. But before Worlds of Draenor came out, and it's obvious, this is obvious, that the two of the store mounts were the Fey Dragon and the Rylak. And the Rylak and the Fey Dragon obviously are the Fey Dragon is the Alliance, Warlords of Draenor mount that you see all the time in Shadow Moon Valley. Is there a way to get a Fey Dragon in the game? This dragon that you see all over the place? No, you have to pay for it. The same with the Rylak. You have to pay for something in the game that you subscribe to, you pay money to. And on top of that, they can't even deliver the entire content of the expansion on the release. Guys, and it's like, I understand that there are setbacks, there are drawbacks, but I heard, and no, I didn't heard, they said that they had doubled the team for World of Warcraft. They had doubled the World of Warcraft development team. How do you double the team and cut the content in half? I don't understand. And it's just, and I do want to say one thing. Highmaul and Blackrock Foundry are amazing. They are amazing raids. There are a lot of good things that have come out of Warlords of Draenor. Don't get me wrong. This expansion is not just the fucking Titanic and everything on it sucks, right? There are some really, really good things, but there are some really, really bad paradigms and design principles that have gone into this that have caused, obviously, the biggest drop in subscribers ever by like 3 times as much. And as I said, I'm really glad that this is happening because maybe this might, I don't know, like spark some sort of a discussion of, hey, maybe things aren't working the way they are. And I also want to talk about PvP here because PvP, a lot of people only PvP. I would say probably 1 million subscribers out of the 10 million only PvP. They strictly PvP, or they might do a dungeon or two, but pretty much PvP is their main thing. And you know what they got this expansion? They got a broken Alterac Valley, which is Ashran. They got bots. Like if you do any sort of a battleground, you'll see. Like I actually thought, like I did what was it, Isle of Conquest, and like 40 of the horde, no, not 40 obviously, but like 25 of the horde all moved in the exact same way all around the map the entire game. There's only one reason that that's happening. They're all bots, and so you're playing with bots. They're not getting rid of the bots. They can get rid of the bots. I fully believe that they can get rid of the bots if with no other reason or way that they can just download the Honor Buddy scripts and then any character that's following that same script movement, just ban that character. It's really simple. I mean, obviously, I'm not a programmer, right? So it's probably more complicated than that, but I think that would be a really, really good first step. And, on top of that, the arena ladders are broken. People are selling boosts for I don't know, for real life money all the time. Go on Twitch TV. People are literally advertising that they will play your character up to Gladiator, pushing real, legitimate players out of Gladiator rank, and just ruining the entire PvP game. And what does Blizzard have to say about it? Nothing. They have nothing to say about it. And you know what? That's another thing. Flying. I was actually glad that they were going to get rid of flying in Warlords of Draenor, and I think at the beginning it turned out pretty well. I saw a lot of people around, it was great, but at this point it probably does need to come back. People have been asking for a month if flying is going to come back for 6.2. They have not once given some sort of a stance one way or another, but they have more than enough time to talk about why some guy on YouTube, why his ad is on the Blizzard launcher that people, by the way, don't even pay for. And so if people say, I just want to say this real quick, if people say that they're not paying to have somebody advertise on their launcher, you don't pay for the launcher. Really quick little fact there. But guys, this is such, I honestly, another thing, I really, guys, obviously I'm kind of upset and I don't really have all my thoughts together here, but I just wanted to make a video and tell you guys how I really feel. And I think that's the best way to do it because I don't really know how else to. I mean, I've detailed out a lot of my complaints. I made a 1-hour video talking about it, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't sit through it, but actually a lot of people did. But either way, a lot of people haven't, watched that video. I'm sure a lot of people at Blizzard haven't, but people have said this stuff over and over and over and over. Garrisons, you sit in your garrison. It's pretty much like doing follower missions is like checking your email. Like if at any point in a video game, especially people pay monthly to play, that a large part, probably the biggest part of an expansion is pretty much the same thing as checking your email, there's probably a problem. And honestly, that's one of the big things is I think garrisons have probably been the biggest mistake of the entire expansion. Now, I really thought garrisons were going to be great, but what they really did is they isolated everybody, and the game really, I mean, when you really, really think about it, unless you're going out into the world to go farm stuff, which nobody really does because, of course, they pretty much removed a lot of the gathering professions from the game and streamlined professions to the point where everyone can do everything, and so there's no real uniqueness or flavor to any of the different classes, especially with the spells and the professions themselves. It's just wow, remove enchants from gear, like you can't enchant your chest or your shoulders or your helmet anymore. What the fuck is that? You don't have gems, you don't have meta gems for your character anymore. Now I know some people didn't like that. I did. There's no investment going into your character. I mean, you can't play one character in Warlords of Draenor and play hardcore with one character. And that is probably one of the biggest disappointments for me, and probably one of the biggest reasons why people are quitting, is that there's really no single main character experience, and that stops like as soon as you pretty much get into like normal mode, and you can get up in there with no trouble. It's very easy. You have gear awarded to you. You do LFR, and you can see all the content. You can be AFK, and like you'll just have gear appear in your bags regardless of your performance. What kind of a game is that? What kind of a game that rewards people for doing nothing? What kind of a game forces people into playing with other people who are doing nothing in LFR, because you guys have all had that happen, and in 5-man dungeons, and then prevents and creates all of these different restrictions on kicking them out? It sucks. And I think that the real reason, like, it's not that they made the game too casual, it's not that they made it too hardcore, is that they removed a lot of the progression and they just took out a lot of content. In Mists of Pandaria, there were 9 dungeons. In Cataclysm, I think that there were even more than that. Wrath of the Lich King, more than that. And Burning Crusade had, like, I don't know, they had a ton of dungeons in Burning Crusade. And in Warlords of Draenor, we only have 8 dungeons, no new battlegrounds, no new races, no professions. Finally, we're going to get all of the zones and the continent out. Wow. Like, wow. I honestly, man, sucks. It really does. This morning I thought to myself, and like I've played World of Warcraft for 9 years. I've played it since 2006, in July 2006. And I always thought that at the time, whenever I would quit, if I would ever quit, whatever, it would be me quitting because I just moved on from the game. And, at this point, is that going to happen? Or is the game going to fall apart? I mean, because obviously you can't just keep losing 3 million subscribers. You can't just keep losing your core, dedicated players. Look on Twitch TV. Why are all of the PvP streamers saying that everybody is quitting? Why are all of the raid guilds falling apart because people just have no interest of playing? These things need to be looked at and figured out and evaluated. And that's the biggest problem to me, is that it seems like there is no communication. The obvious problems, the glaring problems, are just not even being addressed. And guys, I'm going to tell you guys the honest truth. I don't really think that the problems are going to be resolved in Warlords of Draenor. I really, honestly, I don't want to see yearly expansions, but the sooner that they can get another expansion out to erase this, since it is an alternate timeline, they can just pretend that it didn't happen, the better, in my opinion, because there have been so many horrible decisions that have just set the game back. And man, like, I really hope that, things get better. I really do. And I'm really bummed out, honestly. It really sucks, to see like something that you care about and you play and you spend all this time into. And, I love this game, and I don't want to see it fall apart. I don't want to see, these obvious things that need to be addressed, botting and battlegrounds, people selling stuff with real life money in trade chat. Why is that not being stopped? Why are people not doing that? Why is there not one person at Blizzard hired just to ban people who do that? It would be so easy. You go to Kel'Thuzad trade chat and tell me if you can even read anything from all the RBG, like add this person on Skype and then pay them $200 and they'll boost you up to hero rating spam. It is ridiculous. And the game's not going to get better until people can actually get out of it what they put into it. And really, guys, you just don't really get a lot out of it. There are 4 different difficulties in raiding right now. There's LFR, normal mode, heroic mode, and mythic. You have to kill the same boss 4 times. And I understand a lot of mythic raiders don't do LFR, and a lot of casual raiders don't do mythic. But really, even 3 times is too many. It just, whenever World of Warcraft really is not, it's not an MMORPG anymore. I think that that's really what it comes down to. A lot of times back in Burning Crusade, whenever some of my friends would come back, and in my old guild, they would come back in the event. You know how we get them to come back and resubscribe to the game and keep playing with us again? Is we would remind them of the times that we spent together. We'd remind them of the time that we killed Brutalis together, the time that we were doing Karazhan at like 5 in the morning and everybody wiped on trash, even though we're doing T6. We killed Illidan last week. We're wiping on Karazhan trash. Like, that's what we remind them to come back from. Whenever I look at my screenshots, the good times that I've had in this game, it's not killing a boss. It's the people who are in the raid killing it with me. And whenever you don't really have any reason to make friends like that, what's the point? What's the point of playing a game that obviously does not, Blizzard has even said, it does not offer the same single player experience as a game like Skyrim or something like that? Why, and then in what reason, why are you giving all of these different ways to streamline and not interact with players? And guys, I could go on for so long, and I have in other videos, and that's why I'm not going to again. It's just, it sucks, and I wish that I wish it didn't happen, but and as I said before, I'm glad that it does. Maybe this will be a wake up call for everybody, and see what's really going on. Because up until now, people could say, "Oh, you're just an elitist. You just don't want to have this stuff happen," or you don't want to have casuals get free gear or something like that. Well, it seems like a lot of people don't want to have free gear because at least 1/4 of the population. So, and I know that there are a lot of other reasons, but that probably is one of them. You just get loot for nothing, perks for free. It sucks. Honestly, guys, tell Blizzard what you want to change. Like, that's the only real reason, that only way that any of this will ever change is if you say, hey, I want this to change, and tweet them on Twitter, make threads on the forums, do whatever you can. If you care about the game, that's what you have to do. And guys, that's really, honestly, what is it, 17 minutes? That's enough. It really is enough. Honestly, as I said before, is anyone really surprised? I'm not. And, I find that very, very disappointing. So, that's pretty much all I've got. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe.